Every InDesign document that you build will have a default layer named Layer 1. And on this document, it's completely blank, so we have no content if I click the Collapse or Expand triangle. I'm going to double-click on Layer 1 and name it Background. And the color is the selection color of objects. So if you choose a text box or a frame, it'll have light blue points to let you know that it's on Layer 1, or in this case, on the background layer after I hit OK. Layers can be shown or hidden. They can be locked so that they're protected. And you can uncheck the printing of the layer. Very helpful for notes, for example. If you want to put a note on the screen, but you want to make sure that that doesn't print. Or if you have very large images which are taking forever to spool, you could move them to a layer that doesn't print to get the rest of the layout printed. You can also suppress text wrap if a layer is hidden. That's very helpful if you're doing foreign language publications. That's common for layers where you may have an English version, a Spanish version, and a French version. And you could show or hide the guides and lock the guides. But I'm going to click OK, and I've got my background layer. And I'll go to my rectangle tool and look for the bleed guide. And when I get very close to this red line of the guide and see that tiny white arrow, I'll just click once to type a custom size. And I'll type 11.25 by 18.25. This poster is 11 by 18, and I'm adding room for bleed. And I'll click OK. I'm going to swap on my toolbar the fill and stroke color so I get no outline or stroke and a solid fill. And in my swatches panel, I'll choose the Tuscan 1930s color. Then I'll switch to my type tool. And one reason I put this on a background layer is so that I don't accidentally click on it if I'm going to add text and convert that to a text container. I'm going to undo the typing and undo the creation of the text frame. I see no import or output here, so it's no longer a container for text. I'm also going to choose File Place and grab this Bernhard AI, and if this container was selected, that would also make it a container for the image. So I'll undo that and unload my cursor. For that reason, that's why I created the background layer. And I'm just going to adjust my box edges to make sure that it fits to my bleed. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to build one more box that is part of my background. And to do that, I'll just click and drag with my rectangle tool along the bottom. And the green guide indicates I match the width. I'll swap my fill and stroke colors, and in swatches, I'll choose the spring green 1930s. And I'm going to set the X position to -0.125, the Y position to 16.5, the width to 11.25, and the height to 1.25. Yours doesn't have to be exact. I'm just pretty specific about my numbers. So once that's done, I'll go to my selection tool and move that to the bottom of the page. Now, in the Layers panel, if I hit the eye icon, the background layer contains both of these elements. I'll fit the page in window so it's not off screen, and I'm going to lock my background layer. So when I create a text area or place an image, I don't inadvertently change these two to containers. They'll remain simply parts of the background. Very common for postcard layout, ad layout, or any solid fill colors, so you don't accidentally do something to them that you don't mean to. Now I'll make another new layer, and I'll call this Bernhard. And I'll choose File Place. And when I place my Bernhard AI from your Chapter 5 Images folder, it will be free floating, and I'll just aim for the margins. With one click, it has red selection points because the layer color is red. Finally, I'll build a last new layer called Web Address. And with my Type tool, I'll start near the bottom pink margin and click and drag up and type adobe.com. I'll zoom in with Command plus or Control plus so I could see it, /fonts. And in paragraph styles, I have a URL style that I can click once to apply, and I'll choose View, Fit Page in Window, and move this down so it sits with the text right on that adobe.com/fonts. So in my Layers panel at the top right, I can hide and show web address. It's on its own layer. Hide and show the image called Bernhard that I placed, and hide and show the background. Layers are an excellent way to isolate individual pieces of your layout. And when I'm finished, to get an overall preview, I can go to the application bar and choose Preview to see if I like the layout of this piece, and I'm happy with it. So take some time to build new layers for individual pieces to help you isolate them and separate them, or lock them to protect them so you don't inadvertently move objects or convert them to elements that you don't want on the page.